Hey y'all, it's Anime Kim, and today I'm going to be reading the 42nd episode of Captain Tsubasa. And this episode just defied my expectations because the finale of Hirata vs. Nakatsuka was pretty fucking beastly, I gotta say. For one, I like how it showed off Jito's toughness, like with the way that he took on all of Tsubasa's drive shoot shots was fucking amazing. And then I'm even surprised this anime even showed some blood. I was like, oh snap! And that was a good way to raise tension because when Tsubasa was doing his like drive shot, I thought for a second that was Tsubasa's blood, but when it was Jito's blood, I was still like, whoa. I was fucking excited and hyped up because it shows you that when Captain Tsubasa has to go gritty and it has to show a little bit of blood, it will actually show it and it doesn't shy away from that kind of shit. So I like that kind of stuff from Captain Tsubasa, from the series in general. Then aside from that, I like how it finally gave off. Like with the Hirata loss against Nakatsuka, I like how they actually gave them a semblance of character development. Because when he now says with newfound motivation that I'm going to keep on playing football until I beat you, Tsubasa, that was cool and that was sweet. Because at the very least, now Jito is actually motivated to playing football. Because before, it was just done with playing against other teams casually. And so they would end up in a situation where they have to match up against Nakatsuka. And I finally like how now he has a lot more motivation now as a character. So that made Jito more memorable. Even Sano was memorable too. Even though he didn't do as much. Just his tenacity to try to score a ball was pretty motivating to see too. So that was also another cool element about this episode. He also left an impression. And then when Tsubasa first did his drive shoot, that shit was so glorious and beautiful, the animation. And then the other 3 times he did it were just glorious and beautiful too. It just made it even more gratifying how Tsubasa scored it in the first minute of the second half to now give the team some hope on winning. That was also another beautiful element about this episode. For sure. It just made this episode feel much, much more intense. And it's nice to see Hirata choke a 3-0 lead. Yeah. And at the same time, I also like how this episode also still shows some of other Tsubasa's teammates still having a bit of weaknesses, like Ishizaki. Even though he played well and he stole the ball, it still shows off that he needs to grow mentally because he still lacks football IQ in some of these instances. So maybe as the stakes get higher, Ishizaki will stop making those little small mistakes. So I also like that too, and I like how it shows Tsubasa's tenacity. Even though he's risking his career doing the drive shoot repeatedly, he just does it like a boss. And I like that element about this episode too. Because it just further emphasizes how much Tsubasa cares about football and only makes any victory that Nakatsuka achieves much, much more satisfying at the same time. So that was also another nice element about this episode, going for it. And I like how for once after a long time, we finally have some of Tsubasa's teammates actually score a goal and get the win. Yes, while Tsubasa did the hat trick, it's nice to on occasion see his other teammates have some glory from time to time. It just was a beautiful thing to see, giving off this match a satisfying ending. And that's why I felt this episode did well from the character and story standpoint. It was entertaining. We got character development, and at the same time, the animation was fucking nice. And that's why I'm going to rate this episode a 9 out of 10. Because there were a few still shots here and there, but it doesn't really matter because for the most part, the animation was just fucking good. And I loved it. And the art animation were nice, and the soundtrack was still well placed. And the voice performances were still great. And that's why I really loved this episode. It just, everything came up well together pretty well. So anyways, everyone, these are my thoughts on the episode. Comment down your thoughts on the episode below in the comment section. Rate the video, subscribe if you want to see more reviews and reactions, and I'll see you guys later. Subscribe for more. Alright, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.